Hello all, and thank you for attending today's webinar as we introduce EDX's new consulting services. Each year, government and private entities pay out over $1 billion for professional and consulting services. And unfortunately, many of the proposed solutions or deliverables are either impractical or poorly implemented. To help ensure that EDX customers avoid wasting time and resources, we want to provide you with a better understanding of what consulting services can accomplish and help prepare you to work with the experts through our EDX consulting service. Consulting includes a range of activities, but it's very important that we define these practices in detail to ensure expectations are aligned for EDX, the customers, and the consultants who will be working with them. A good way to define the results for EDX consultants is to consider the purpose of the task or customer goal. It's essential that we help the customer to clarify their business or performance goals, as they will have a direct impact on the consultant's level of effort, i.e. hours expended or billed as a result. In the end, the level of engagement that influences the project success. What we have and what we've developed with EDX consulting are fundamental objectives. And these objectives will help to ensure you understand the type of work you're going to be getting, the level of effort, the focus area of the different services that are available from our consultants. The first is troubleshooting, which is pretty self-explanatory. Troubleshooting and problem solving, which is providing you, the customer, with information or solving the problems that you're encountering. The next is RF system analysis. It's a more detailed examination of your RF planning solution or design in order to determine the essential features are present and functioning properly, which is different from RF Solution Diagnostics. This is more of the identifying the nature of RF solution or design problem by examining errors or bugs or other indicators that may present themselves. Next, we get into making recommendations, and those recommendations are going to be based on the results of analysis and the diagnostics. Finally, we have what we call on-the-job training or on-demand training. This training will help with the implementation of the recommendation or the recommended solutions, or to relay how to resolve similar problems internally in the future. These objectives build upon one another, starting from 1 through 5. As you move from 1 through 5, the objectives become more involved. They require a certain level of sophistication and subject matter expertise to address the customer's needs. EDX consultants will not shift from one objective and leapfrog into another unless it's called for. This is crucial to maintaining the agreement established between EDX and the customer, because we understand that to make that leap from one objective to another would risk losing sight of what's in the best interest for the customer, which would mean that the focus has either shifted to the best needs of EDX or the consultant, and we want to avoid that at all costs. In addition, our consultants will not try to prolong agreements or enlarge the scope of work. Wherever you happen to be in this list of objectives or tasks, 1 through 5, it is the consultant's first priority to address the purpose of the customer's request. As the need arises, all parties, that's EDX, the customer, and the consultant, must agree to revisit a predetermined scope of work in order to add any additional objectives or tasks. Here, it's important that we stop and point out that the EDX consultant objectives that outline the work to be completed does not include working for the customer, providing surge support, or augmenting the customer's workforce. Such work would fall outside of our 5 objectives and require a separate agreement, and that agreement is between the customer and that consultant. This means the terms of such agreements will not be negotiated or regulated by EDX Wireless. The EDX consultants are reputable. However, EDX can't regulate or manage work done by the consultant that we personally did not have addressed in our EDX consultant development program. And that's when you are working with an EDX consultant, it is because they have gone through that development program, and we can certify that the work you're receiving as it aligns with those 5 objectives is on point and fit for purpose. With that being said, let's review the work that EDX consultants can perform and the quality you can expect from their contributions. Troubleshooting and problem solving. It's perhaps the most common reason for seeking assistance is to obtain information. Compiling it may involve reviewing study results for anomalies or errors. Your company may want a consultant's special expertise or the more accurate, up-to-date information that an external subject matter expert can provide. Or the company may be unable to spare the time and resources to complete this sort of work internally. Often the information is all a customer wants, but the information a customer needs sometimes differs from what the consultant is actually asked to furnish. To avoid wasting time and resources that would occur through scope creep, having that predetermined statement of work will normally help to avoid such scenarios. However, this is the real world and Murphy laws do exist. Change happens, and we must always be prepared. But before revisiting the statement of work, EDX, the consultant, will ask the question, what will you do with the information once you've got it? Many customers haven't asked themselves that question, and often the customer just needs to make better use of the data already available. In any case, no outside consultant can supply useful findings unless they understand why the information is sought and how it will be used. Our consultants will first help you to determine what relevant information is already on hand. Again, we are looking to add value, not add to the bottom line. As we are all professionals, we'll need to collaborate to be successful. I will add this. Seemingly impertinent questions from both sides should not be cause for offense. They can be highly productive. Moreover, all professionals have the responsibility to explore the underlying needs of their customers or their clients. They must respond to those requests for data in a way that allows them to decipher and address other needs as an accepted part of the agreements that they have in place. The other side of this coin is solving problems. And managers and project leads often give consultants the difficult problems to solve. For example, a client might wish to know whether a fix to an old component or perhaps replacing it with a new component would be best, or what the most practical solution is for a problem. Seeking solutions to problems of this sort is certainly a legitimate function or objective, but the consultant also has a professional responsibility to ask whether the problem as posed is what actually needs solving, and very often the customer needs help most in defining the real issue. To help with this, EDX has developed in tandem with the consulting services RF health checks. During these sessions, which are scheduled for 1 hour, we will go over an array of questions, and we want to focus on areas that are critical to your performing the job. And that would be health status with questions related to software usage, software version, licensing needs, and future readiness. This is also an opportunity for the customer to submit their ideas for software feature enhancements. The support and training team will handle those requests for you under this service. We will create and submit the tickets and ensure you receive real-time updates on these requests. In addition, if the RF health check helps to identify sales needs or bugs in the software, we will handle the intake process for you with that ticket. RF health checks also address your RFP needs with questions related to upcoming deadlines or deliverable needs. When you request RF health checks in combination with consulting services, you'll also review questions like which solutions have been attempted in the past and what were the results? What untried steps toward a solution does the customer have in mind? If the problem is solved, how will the solution be applied? And then finally, what can be done to ensure that the solution wins wide acceptance and adoption in the future. After the RF Health Check is completed, EDX will work with our consultant to solidify a statement of work and provide a detailed description of the problems to be addressed. This ensures that we properly identify the issue at hand and structure a proposal that focuses on the customer's stated concern at one level while exploring related or underlying factors. As the two parties work together, the problem may be redefined and the question may switch from something like, why do we have poor results and bad coverage, to how do we update our project templates to ensure we avoid poor results and consistently get reliable coverage with future projects or RFP deliverables. EDX will work to understand a customer's needs and explore a problem before setting out to solve it, as we realize the definition of the most important problem may well shift as the work proceeds. I'm sure we all can agree that neither a solution with the wrong problem or a solution that won't be implemented is helpful. Now we move into effective analysis. And quite briefly, effective analysis is an incredibly easy function to get wrong. When a team fails to properly implement best practices around system analysis, the collapse is usually so spectacular that the debris zone impacts more than just an individual project. It could jeopardize an RFP deliverable. The EDX consultant will help by helping to investigate and understand the technical requirements, to specify the new system, and or review your design to help ensure your implementation requirements in terms of cost, effort, and time are all in alignment, which is a little different from what we are addressing with RF Solution Diagnostics. Much of a consultant's value lies in their expertise, and it's important to note that competent diagnosis requires more than an examination of the technology, equipment, or software. The consultant must also ask why the customer made choices that now appear to be generating errors or yielding inconsistent results. Although the need for independent diagnosis is often cited as a reason for using outside help, drawing members from the customer's organization into the diagnostic process makes good sense. And with that being said, we get into our recommendations. So rather than just asking questions and recording responses, EDX consultants will work through the task and issues with you, all the while compiling a list of findings and recommendations to avoid similar challenges in the future. This is why we want to work with you and designate individuals within your organization that will work and collaborate with the EDX consultant. This measure ensures that knowledge acquired is shared and that the detail work is performed by the employee rather than the consultant. We will help, we will push, but the detail work is performed by the employee. While this is going on, we will provide weekly updates to the project lead about the issues that may be surfacing and the progress that is being made. Through this diagnostic strategy, we help to identify knowledge and skill gaps that emerge and can be addressed with EDX scheduled or on-demand or on-the-job training options. The goal is to ensure that your employees have the knowledge and skills necessary to handle similar tasks and challenges in the future after working with an EDX consultant. Which brings us to on-the-job or on-demand training. At the conclusion of a project or agreement, a consultant will often ask for a second engagement or agreement to help install a recommended new system. However, we want to make sure that the knowledge and skills gaps identified are addressed and eliminated with training. As mentioned previously, it's our goal to leave behind something of lasting value, and that is what our customers should be getting with these new premium services. This is accomplished by enriching your team so that they develop professionally and therefore bring more value to your organization in the future. It's not our goal to replace or take away from the development or professional development of your employees. It is more important that we provide you with the means to build up and reinforce your workforce so that they can encounter and address future challenges and be confident in the outcomes. And that is the end of the presentation segment here. I really wanted to make sure we provided ample time for asking questions, for which I am expecting a few. I do see that some of the questions in the Q&A were earlier of the test. If these are the end of the questions, I will ask right now if you would like to submit your questions so that they can be answered in live rather than waiting for a later call or email. First question we received earlier, we would probably need NDAs in place. Is there a standard way to handle NDAs? Thanks. The answer to that is yes. The agreements that are signed between EDX Wireless, the consultant, and the customer, we include non-disclosure agreements because we do realize that a number of our customers will have sensitive or confidential information that they do not want shared or going beyond the parameters of their organization. So the statement of work, the agreement to work with a consultant, and the scope will all be included. The NDA is critical, and we would rather, even if our customers don't have NDAs, we will generate one ourselves to make sure that is part of the package for any agreement. Is there a considered upper limit on number of customers as clients? I am going to assume that means how many customers a consultant can serve at a particular time. And doing that, what we are going to do is make sure that we keep track of the bandwidth and the hours and the level of effort for the consultants. I am no stranger to overload, and we want to make sure that our consultants have the bandwidth to provide quality services to the customer. The next question we have, are EDX consultants EDX Wireless employees or third-party independent contractors? EDX consultants are not EDX Wireless employees. They are subject matter experts that have been contracting, working with us, that are actually going through our EDX consultant development program. EDX is a very small company. Just support and training is a team of 4. And so that should give you an indication that we do not have the staff to service customers in this capacity. Also, the experts that we are bringing in as consultants have upwards of 15 and 20 years of experience and are well qualified to address your consulting needs. Next, we have, how does your level 1 troubleshooting consulting differ from technical support for the EDX Signal Pro software? Great question. The support that we provide as a byproduct or service of your annual maintenance fee is the type of troubleshooting that can be addressed with the content that we're developing or by an EDX staff member. We are looking at tier levels as far as complexity, 1, 2, and 3. In many cases, when you're working with an EDX consultant, you will not be bringing your tier 1 or level 1 troubleshooting problems to the EDX consultant. You will be working at level 3 or beyond, where you need their expertise and more of their time. Our troubleshooting structure right now focuses on providing customers with 30 minutes to an hour of time in segments that are scheduled, whereas you will have that access on demand for an EDX consultant. And that is something we realized was heavily needed. Customers would like to have the easy access to someone that could help with their troubleshooting without having to schedule a Zoom session, which I do understand can be complicated and very cumbersome. This is one where you have that unrestricted access to the individual that has already been pre-selected to work with you. The next question, how do you go about becoming an EDX consultant? Great question. The EDX consultant development program we rolled out in Q2. When we are going through this program, we go through the development process of ensuring that this person is a well-rounded SME, to learning about our standard practices, best practices for the software, not the industry, as well as basic instructional development, as well as consulting in general, business ethics, being able to ensure that we are presenting the customer and addressing their needs, again, not our own. If that is an interest, I will add the link after this question. We do have a new posting on edx.com that discusses or the solicitation or the opening for this opportunity. And I can send that to you directly, or I can send it to all members if they are interested. But we are looking for more subject matter experts interested in becoming EDX consultants. The final question I have, I would probably need EDX Wireless to help direct me to the correct forum, training versus directed consulting, etc. That is a great question and a great statement. When it comes to indicating or determining whether a request should be addressed with training or consulting, that is where our RF health check comes into play. When we are going through those questions, we are assessing your needs, and in some cases, we can help you with making that determination. We have courses that are already developed, as well as courses that are available as custom offerings. And now that we have moved from quarterly training to monthly training, the schedule is available at edx.com under the product support or support and product training button. You'll be able to see that schedule. The part of the process these last few months has been helping customers to identify the difference between training and consulting and what is best to help fit their needs and ensure that they're able to get what they need either immediately or on a scheduled basis. So thank you for that question. Technical support from EDX has been great over the years. Will I now have to pay for consultants to get the same support I received over the years? I would not like that. I completely understand. As far as the service in the past, dealing with capacity and bandwidth, we're not able to provide that level of support for all of our customers, which is why we initially introduced the customer support portal. I know it wasn't a well or greatly accepted, but in general, it has allowed us the time to build these other offerings for you. When it comes to consultant services, it would go beyond just answering the phone when a customer calls. This is unequivocally, it's a leaps and bounds from the technical support that was received previously. This is your consultant to work with you on your custom needs at the time that you indicate, rather than scheduling a session, scheduling a 1 free hour of training for the month, or submitting a ticket and waiting for us to go through the hundreds of tickets we may have in order to address your needs. A number of customers have asked for tier 1 or premium services, and this is the response to that, because we do realize that some customers need that additional support. In light of COVID-19 pandemic, are you offering virtual training to customers? Absolutely. From March of this year, we pretty much did away with on-site training because of COVID-19. In addition to providing virtual instructor-led training, we also started providing customers with temporary COVID access because we knew that it would be a problem. We are starting to transition into helping customers move from hardware key access to Cirrus licensing access. But in general, for the rest of 2020, all of our trainings, both monthly, scheduled, or customized, will be conducted through Zoom training webinars and offered to customers virtually. The benefit of that is we also provide the customers with recording, added access, and additional support based on that training topic. I have a few more. Who do we reach out for virtual training? Our sales rep. To get started, you can definitely contact myself as the Director of Support and Training. I work with my team to develop that content. I also work with the subject matter experts who are helping to develop new courses. The RF health checks are designed to be delivered or conducted once a month for 1 hour with the customer. We go through all of the questions I mentioned previously to determine if you need additional services or assistance or training. The benefit of having the monthly RF health checks is it helps to introduce a cadence so that rather than waiting for an instance where you have a deliverable, you have a deadline, you're receiving short notice on those requests. Our team is reaching out and touching base with you in advance to determine what your future needs will be. If you have a bug, if you have an issue, if you have a training need, we can work on that in advance before it becomes an emergency. And in general, those who have participated in the trial period of the RF health checks benefited from learning a little bit more about what we had planned, upcoming features, submitting their feature requests, and things like making sure their Bing Map keys were up to date. All of it really came down to being proactive, and that's what the RF health checks are all about. Let us help you to identify your needs before they become emergencies. That brings us to the end of today's webinar session. I thank you all so very much for your time. As I sign off, I will say, please stay safe, please stay healthy, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Have a good one.